Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to Mountain Harmony Gardening. I can't believe this is going to be our third garden tour. I'm going to take you around the yard and kind of show you what is really not growing on at the moment, and we're going to talk about what's upcoming. We're going to start our tour at the front of the yard, and it's Halloween today, so I'm even wearing my Halloween leggings. I kind of got dressed up a little bit for Halloween. I took the day off of work so that Sebastian and I could spend the day together, and I wanted to make sure that I got in this garden tour today. So you're going to see this on the video on Friday, but this is what we've done to winterize our beds up front. And that big mound of leaves underneath there is our fern. And I figured out how to keep our ferns alive in this climate by burying them in quite a few layers of leaves. Kind of makes like a blanket for them. So let me get a close-up of the barberry. And see, it still has its leaves and a few of the barberries left. Our irises look pretty good still too. But you can't really see the coral bell under here, even though it is there. We've got it buried for the winter. And our double flowering almond has not lost its leaves yet. It still looks pretty green for this time of the year, even though we've had a freeze. And here is my huckleberry at the front of the yard. And you can see that it has died for the winter. And I know that in some cold areas, huckleberries are perennials, so I'm going to leave that one as it is for this winter and see if it comes back. And our beautiful pine tree. See if I can get a good shot of it for you. There you go. Still looks the same. And this is also one of my favorite trees besides my dwarf weeping crabapple. Now here is all of my ground cover. And we've put it to bed for the winter with a nice good layer of leaves. And I'm having to walk backwards because right now during fall our sun is pretty low in the sky and doesn't make for a very good picture. So you can see that it's all nice and covered. And down here is my new area of the flower bed. And I have that all covered. And here is the raspberry bush. And it's still pretty green, looking a little sad. It's got a lot of leaf damage this time of the year. But I decided that I'm going to do what I've always done, and I'm going to cut it back in the spring. And I'm going to cut it way back, all the way to the ground. I know I may not get raspberries next spring, maybe late summer, but I want to replace the trellis. Let me give you a better look at the trellis. Go on to the other side. I have it tied to the fence because it's falling down. So Donnie is going to make up a trellis, and we're going to show you that DIY next spring. Lots and lots of raspberries. And the comfrey plant is looking pretty sad this time of the year, but it's a perennial, so it'll come back. Here's the iris bed. And the irises still look pretty happy. So now that I've divided them, I'm really hoping that next spring we will have some nice, beautiful flowers. I don't know what color the ones are that my mother-in-law gave me, but I'm really excited to find out. The current ones we have are purple. Okay, now we're coming up on my favorite tree. Or I guess I should say my second favorite tree. And you can see that it's still green, has some yellow leaves, and all the crab apples have turned a really pretty red. And we leave those for the birds, and we found out the squirrels like them too. This is another iris that I have. I bought it, I think, 2 years ago, and it's never flowered. And if it doesn't flower this spring, I'm going to divide it as well. It's supposed to be a red iris, and Sebastian's favorite flowers are irises. You can see that I've taken out all of my yard decor except for my little lights. They make it just fine over the winter time. And they actually are really pretty when they're peeking through the snow and they're glowing. And the rest of this I just leave. And you can't even see the hostas because the hostas have pretty much gone to sleep. The other ones have turned yellow. Okay, walk out of my Japanese garden. And my honeysuckle is still green. But my clematis looks sad too. On my herb bed, not a lot has changed because a lot of this is still alive. Like you can see the oregano is still alive back there too. My gladiolas are still green, but you can definitely tell that they're going to sleep. I took out some of their support, so a lot of them are flopping over right now. And my apple tree still has its leaves. It still looks really good, but they are a cold hardy tree. And it put on a lot of growth this year, but it's a dwarf. It won't get as big as some of the other apple trees. All right, now for the garden. You can see that the other huckleberries are pretty sad. They did not survive the freeze. Neither did the fennel and the marigolds and my poor dahlia, the catnip. You could see that in my one short video where it got flattened by the snow. But the dahlia has turned black. And my poor flowers. But this is what you want for a dahlia, because you'll be able to dig it up now and overwinter it. And I will be showing you that on Friday's video. Not this Friday, the Friday after. It's going to be a two-part. Now our beets are looking a little sad too, but now we can dig them up. Our carrots, which are over here too. You can now kind of see that I actually have carrots in this bed. And we're going to dig those up as well. We're going to do it this weekend. And the rest of it looks womp womp. Very sad. Now, the kale is flopping over because it had a lot of snow on it. But it is still alive. And so are the collard greens. You can take a look at this one right here. We're going to be harvesting all of it. And we're going to be putting it in the freezer to save. Okay. Oh, look at my poor nasturtiums. But I knew this is coming. It happens every year. Now, the pumpkin vine. And, oh, I still have a pumpkin back there. I thought I got that one. Let's walk over. We'll show you. I forgot that one. And we'll have to pick that. And we turned our water barrel upside down to let it dry out. And then we store our hoses in it for the winter time. Great storage. We are very, very short on storage. And like I told you guys, mush. They turned to mush after the snow melted off of them and they got a little bit of sunshine on them. Same thing with the tomatillos. And let's see. Now we got most of the tomatillos. These ones are still pretty small. You can see how I can flatten out the husks. Oh, so this is my garden this time of year. Having to duck under the vine. It's growing across. Here, I can give you another view of the nasturtiums. They do not survive the cold weather, but I'm going to pick through them because I saw some of them had seeds, and I am really, really excited if I can get some nasturtium seeds. We had already cleaned up this part of the bed last Friday. So most of this, other than the nasturtiums that were still good at that time, is already gone. And we leave the leaves in here because we're actually going to be digging these into the soil. Maybe. It feels pretty hard already. We're going to try on this weekend when we film. So you can see that My basil is done. The marigolds are done. But we want this to happen to be able to finish putting the flower beds to sleep. Oh, I do have, ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, that's like solid as a rock. I'm gonna have to dig that radish out. The parsley, on the other hand, doesn't look too bad. That's because it's perennialized, and I swear nothing can kill this. I never expected parsley to take over this end of the garden. So there's a look at there. The goji berry has no leaves, but still has some goji berries that I can pick on it and then dry them out. And it did really good this year. I'm really excited about that. Oh, and my poor little peppers. Very, very sad. Yeah. And I knew I should have gotten out here last night and picked the rest of them because they are, they're squishy. They're very squishy. But I showed you how to overwinter your peppers. So that, hopefully, I've been watering them, I've been checking on them, they still look good. And hopefully we will have these plants again next year. And you can see the eggplants. Very sad. Here's some of the bigger ones. Raspberries look fine. They probably still have raspberries on them. Let's see. Yep. And these are the ones that do really well because they get the most sunlight back here. And we had the squirrel, Landry, who got his tail hurt, was running around in the flower bed while we were trying to film one day. And he was picking the eggplants and running off with them. Here is my lilac bush. Still looks good, hasn't dropped its leaves yet. There we go. Let me turn around this way. See if I can get you a shot up the way. There we go. Now our plans for the garden this year, I'm doing a 4-part series on that we'll be posting here in a few weeks. And I'm going to go over every single bed that I have, and I'm going to divide it into 4. There's going to be the pumpkin bed up there. There will be the long bed. There will be the raspberry and pepper area. Let me see if I can get that. Ooh, yeah, shadows are bad today. And then there will be this area over here with my new bed, and then the shady bed that runs along the shed. So those beds I'm going to be doing different things in. Not so much the new bed. I really, really like it. It's just when I'm planting in it will be different. But I want to tell you guys all these cool ideas that we have and all the things that will be happening in the spring on the channel. But it doesn't mean our channel will be dead for the winter. Nope. It's not going dormant. I have got a lot of things planned for you guys I think you'll really, really enjoy. I happen to have a friend who's a master gardener, and I'm going to be interviewing him and getting his opinions on a lot of stuff. I am extremely, extremely excited for all of you guys to hear what he has to say. So there's another look at the garden. Here, let me show you the deck. We cleaned it completely off. I never realized how large the deck is until we clean it off. I'm also going to be showing you guys some herbalism stuff this winter too. I'm going to be going over some reviews of channels and different books that I like. Yeah, look at the mint. The mint is still pretty good. The strawberries are still alive. My rose actually doesn't look too terribly bad. Flowers are done, but the rose still looks pretty green. So I want you to stay tuned this winter for everything that I'm doing. And when we start our seeds in February, we start them really early, I will be taking you through that complete process and what I do. I will also be showing you my house plants. And I have, I think, about 50 house plants. So I love, love, love plants. So you can see all my flowers are done. for the season. And we move everything under here to keep it protected for the winter. And we will be cutting all this back this weekend. Oh, there's Lola. Lola kitty. Oh, she's got a puffy tail. Why you got a puffy tail? You went back in the house. You can stay out here with me for a little bit. Say hi to everybody. So we're going to cover all this up with a tarp and get it all ready for winter. And we'll leave out our grill, of course, so we can keep using it through the winter time. Oh, there's the cat. I still have a few little garden things that I need to bring in. I've been waiting for them to dry out after the rain. And brings us back to this bed at the front end of the tree. And you can see that my hostas are gone to sleep for the winter. My bluebells, on the other hand, don't mind the cold weather. They start growing better this time of year. But they will go to sleep here soon. But in the springtime, once the snow melts, they're still green. They're amazing. That's why I planted them here, is because they do so well. And you can see that we've taken out a lot of our yard decor that we don't want to get ruined over the winter time. There, more hostas. And I leave my hostas. I don't actually cut them back because in the spring, I want to know where they're at. So I leave this, and then I know to kind of pull back the rocks to make sure that when they start to sprout up in the springtime, they have enough room to grow. Lola is definitely enjoying being outside and getting a little bit of sunshine before all the snow really starts to fall. Huh, cat? Yeah. Oh. So this pretty much concludes our garden tour. It's very short for this time of the year because we really don't have much going on. It's going to be the last cleanup of the garden, and then we're done. We kind of just wait. But I will also have some tips for you on how to save some money on some of the big projects that you want to do this winter. Or not this winter, in the spring. So make sure that you stay tuned for those. And I hope you have enjoyed our Halloween garden tour. That concludes our garden tour on Halloween. There's not much going on right now, considering everything has gone dormant for the winter time. But look forward to this winter, and we're going to do a lot of different things and show you guys some really cool tips and tricks. So thanks for watching. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. That really helps our channel grow a lot, and I appreciate everybody who comments and likes and subscribes and shares. So happy gardening, everybody, and I'll see you soon.